Mm, So as you can see on your screen, so unit 1 consists of understanding Java EE. EE stands for Enterprise Edition. It stands for Enterprise Edition. So what is an enterprise application? What is the Java Enterprise Edition, Java EE technology, Java EE evolution, and Glassfish servers? So in unit number 1, second chapter, we will be studying about Java EE architecture, server and containers, what kind of content, what type of system architecture it has, Java EE servers, and then we have introduction to Java Servlet. Then we have Servlet API and lifecycle, along with servlets working with databases. In unit 2, we'll be studying about request dispatcher. Basically, this is about your cookies and all that. Then we have cookies. It's not the biscuit. Cookies are temporary storage for your browsers. Then we have sessions, working with files, how to handle filing and all that, working with non-blocking of IO. IO stands for input and output. Then we will move towards introduction to Java server pages, which is a very important topic. Then we'll start with Java server pages, action elements of JSP elements and all that, implicit objects, scope, and EIA expressions. Then we will be studying about Java server pages, Java server JSTL libraries, introduction to enterprise Java beans, working with session beans, what kind of beans we have. A session bean is one kind, and then we have message driven beans. Then we will be studying about interceptors. What are interceptors? Then Java naming and directory interface. Then last unit tells about persistence, object relational mapping, and JPA. What is persistent? Persistent is kind of thing that is permanent or which will last long. Then we will have introduction to Java persistent API, writing Java application, then introduction to Hibernate and writing Hibernate applications. So basically, we will be using two main reference books. Java E7 for beginners, Sarnam Shah and Vaishali Shah, SPD first edition, and Advanced Java Programming, Uttam Kumar Roy, Oxford Press. So here is your reference book, as you can see. So we'll be starting with Java EE. So basically, what is an enterprise application? An enterprise application is a business application in today's corporate environment. Enterprise applications are complex, scalable, distributed, component-based, and mission-critical. So basically, we are designing application in such a way that it can be developed to the huge extent. It is scalable. You can scale that application as per your requirement. It is distributed across different computers or servers. Then component-based and mission-critical. Suppose I want to create or develop an application in such a way that for uh, medical management system, so it is a mission critical application. So they may be deployed on a variety of platform across corporate networks, intranets, and or the internet. Note it down. This is what is enterprise application. This part screen is visible to you all. So an enterprise application is a business application. In today's corporate environment, enterprise applications are complex. Complex means it has complex calculation and all that. Then we have it has to be scalable. What do you mean by scalable? It can work from small scale to large scale. Then it has to be distributed. If we are using from one machine or one computer to another computer or another server located across a globe, so it has to be like that only. Then component based and mission critical. So it will meet your all requirements for what it is intended to build. Then they may be deployed on a variety of platforms across corporate networks. Either you can use corporate networks or internet means within that campus only, or the internet over the globe. Done? Raise your hand if you're done with this enterprise application definition. Okay. What about others? Done? Can I scroll? So basically, enterprise application consists of several architectures. In enterprise architecture is an extension of concept of multi-tier architecture and available technologies. resulting in custom-made platform that can run across hardware, software frameworks. Basically, multi-tier architecture is a kind of architecture which consists of several layers, starting from a bottom layer, then middle layer, and it goes on up to the top layers, kind of architecture it is. Then we have a distributed multi-tiered application model that can be described as an enterprise application. Application logic is divided into components according to the functions, and the various application components put together make up enterprise application. So basically, we are developing enterprise application in such a way that it will have a distributed multi-tiered application model along with the particular application logic. Like I said, suppose I want to develop any application for a warehouse management, so it has to be along with its application logic, along with its small components, which components you are using for deployment or developing of your applications. So this component might be are physically installed on your different computer or different physical location, depending upon the tier and multi-tier environment to which the application component belongs. All components work together in harmony across the enterprise. Now suppose I want to develop an application in such a way that it will calculate a factorial of a number. I will accept a number through user, and it will calculate this factorial of a number. So it will consume little bit less time in comparison if I want to calculate average marks or percentage of 1,000 students. So depending upon what kind of logic you are using or what kind of application you want to build, so time consumption will be more or less. So in enterprise architecture, it is divided into the following tiers. So note it down. Client tier services run on client machine basically. So we'll be going through client tier, web tier, server tier, business tier is there. Then we have enterprise information system tier software on EIS server. So client tier service run on client machine, web tier services run on the server, business tier services run on the server. Then we have enterprise information system tier software run on the EIS server. Note it down. Enterprise architecture divided into the following tiers. Client tier services that will run on client machine. Then we have web tier services run on the server. Then we have business tier services run on the server. Then we have EIS, enterprise information system tier software run on the EIS server. So these are the tiers of your enterprise architecture. So client tier service is there, web tier service is there, business tier services is there, and then we have enterprise information system tier. So totally 4 tiers are there. So what are the challenges of enterprise application development? The principal challenge to maintain the value of existing business with the internet's hyper competitive pace. To achieve big competitive edge, time quality plays an important role. So basically, when we are designing and business level application or enterprise application, so we have to consider a few things. Competitive edge, competition will be there. Time consumption is a major factor that plays a crucial role. Quality of that application development plays a crucial role in your enterprise application development. By keeping the following factors in view, a developer can deliver customized enterprise application quickly. So these are the factors that can affect your productivity or applications performance. First is programming productivity. It has to be program specific or productivity. Then response to demand. So it's up to a developer what kind of response they want to give to demands of client. Then integration with existing system. It's not like that I'm developing. See, whenever I download a new version of a software, it incorporates previous features of that previous version. Similarly, here it should be integrated with existing system. Then we have freedom to choose what kind of component or service we want to choose. Then main important thing is maintaining the security. Security is the main concern in this kind of things. So one of the key objectives of Java EE platform is to provide standard environment to develop enterprise application. So note it down. This program productivity, response to demand, integration with existing system, freedom to choose, maintaining security. So one of the key objective of Java EE platform is to provide standard environment development enterprise applications. Note it down. programming productivity, response to demand, integration with the existing system, freedom to choose, maintaining security. So Java EE platform has been influential by many early initiatives. One of those was Microsoft's successful integration of technologies with 3 tiers, that will be your Visual Basic, Microsoft Transaction Servers, and SQL Server. So what is Java Enterprise Edition? This is a very important question as per your syllabus is concerned. Java EE is a set of coordinated technologies and practices that enables developing, deploying and managing multi-tier server-centric enterprise application. Note it down. Java is a set of coordinated technologies and practices that enable developing, deploying and managing multi-tier server-centric enterprise application. What do you mean by deploying? We have learned about this word deploying. Deploying is something which is ready to use, and it is up to hosting and managing multi-tier services centric enterprise application. So it is a collection of standardized components, containers, services for creating and deploying distributed application with well-defined distributed computing architecture. So what is Java EE? This set of coordinated technologies. The coordination has to be there in between technologies. Either you are using Servlet or JSP or other technologies, then practices that enables you to develop, deploy and managing multi-tier service centric enterprise applications. So main focus or main target of this enterprise edition is your uh, 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 sorry multi-tier centric main target is enterprise application and practices that enable developing, deploying, and managing multi-tier service-centric enterprise application. It is a collection of standardized component, contents, and services for creating and deploying distributed application within a well-defined distributed computing application. So basically, in this whole architecture of your Java Enterprise Edition, so we'll be discussing about multi-layer or multi-tier technologies or multi-tier applications. So basically, Java Enterprise has brought a powerful act of set of APIs that help us develop. So basically they have given advantages or features of your Java EE. API stands for your application programmable interface. So commercial applications can be function with single PC or normally. Then it produces master child business process on a specific location. So basically few features, highlighted features of Java EE are it provides a collection of standardized components that facilitate the crafting of such commercial applications. So it provides a components that facilitates a crafting of such commercial application. By using this component or standardized component or practices, you can build your commercial application. Then we have standard interfaces that define how the various application modules interconnect. Then we have standard services that define how the different software modules can communicate. So the Java EE provides three set of collections. They are standardized components that facilitate the crafting of such commercial application. By using these components, you can craft your commercial application. Then second, standard interface that define how the various application module are interconnected. So defining these components are relevant to your modules. So these modules can contain multiple components. Then we have standard services that define how the different software modules can communicate. So these modules can communicate with your services. So basically we are first initiating with components, then moving towards the interface with the modules, and then modules will communicate with your services. So note it down. Done? Raise your hand. If you are done writing, raise your hand in between. Done. Please raise your hand. Hello. Okay. One. So these components are your normal components, interfaces and services. Okay. So for example, a stateless nature of, okay. For example, the stateless nature of the hypertext transfer protocol ensures that a client does not have a permanent connection with the server, has serious implication of how state is managed in between invocation. Now, basically, as we all know, HTTP is your stateless protocol. What do you mean by stateless? Its state of that client and server mechanism is not preserved at client side as well as server side. So basically, this implications of services or serious implications of state is managed in between invocation. Finally, Java's write once and run anywhere. So Java provides a features like write once and you can run that applications or code anywhere. Philosophy has provided a basic for trying to together many technologies are required to develop and deploy enterprise based commercial applications. So you can develop your applications with the help of JSP or Servlet or JSF you can use, or you can use your message driven beans or Java beans also. So what are Java EE technologies? So it provides lots of uh, EE platforms. By using that, you can develop this Java EE application. So web-based app technology, just note it down. Web application technologies that includes your Java Servlet. So Java Servlet is a program that extends the functionality of web servers. Basically, it is on server side. Servlet receives a request from a client and dynamically generates a response and then sends response to a containing HTML or XML document to the client. Basically, it generates a response from server side and send to a client containing your HTML or XML tag. Then we have JSP, Java Server Pages. So we broadly discuss this concept in upcoming unit or upcoming chapters of this subject, Java Servlet, Java Server Pages. So basically, in JSP we have static data and JSP element. So Java Server Pages technology helps to generate dynamic content. There are two types of contents you can generate. At runtime, you can content dynamic content, and at static compile time, you can generate a static content. Static content is a fixed kind of content, and dynamic content is run on your runtime. So for a web client, a JSP page is text-based document that contains two types of text. Basically, static data. It can be expressed in any text-based format such as HTML, WML, or XML. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Then WML stands for uh, web markup language. Then XML stands for extensible markup language. Then we have JSP elements, informs how a page constructs a dynamic content. After Servlet and JSP, they have provided Java Server Pages standard tag library. These are basically a tag libraries of JSP, and it encapsulates core functionality of JSP application. Using this, you are allowed to create a standard set of tags instead of mixing tags of numerous vendors in JSP application. So it provides a different set of library. By using these tags, you can use your JSP application for numerous vendors. Then we have JSF, Java Server Faces, is a user interface framework for building web applications. So basically, JSF is your kind of user interface framework. What do you mean by user interface? So you are looking at a computer screen or desktop screen. So this is your user interface, application interface. So the main component of Java Server Faces technology are as follows: a GUI component framework. There are two types of component frameworks. First is command line and other is GUI, graphical user interface, with some additional functions and features. A flexible model and rendering components in different kind of HTML or different markup language and technologies. A render object can markup render the components, convert the data stored in model object to types that can be represented to a view. Then we have facelets, refer to Java Server Face View Definition Framework, which is a page declaration language developed by use Java. So basically, facelets are a part of your Java Server Faces. It defines its framework uh, by using the concept of view declaration language introducing Java Server Faces 2. So we'll be studying this all concept in detail in further lectures. Then enterprise application technologies, it provides enterprise Java beans. So component is the enterprise bean having method to implement models of business logic. So basically this Java beans are written with a business logic with your models of bins. So basically it is divided into two parts, or two types of bins can be there. Either you can use message driven bins or a session bin. So they are scalable, transactionable, secure, and building blocks of the enterprise application running on Java EE servers. So EJB can be accessed locally and remotely through RMI. RMI stands for Remote Method Invocation, or HTTP for SOAP, Simple Online Access Protocol, SOAP, and RESTful Web Services. So RESTful Web Services, it provides Java's RESTful architecture. So we'll be studying about this also in upcoming lectures. Then most important, your Java Persistent API. Persistent API is a Java standard-based API for object relational mapping. That is your ORM. ORM, a solution for persistent. Persistent use an object relational mapping approach to bridge a gap between object-oriented model and relational database. So basically, persistent stands for your permanent kind of status. It will bridging the gap in between object-oriented model and relational kind of model. So basically, Java Persistent consists of the Java Persistent API and the query language. Then we have Java Transactional API. So you can perform several transactions using this transaction API. So it's not about money transaction, other transaction of sending and receiving the messages. Then we have Java Messaging Services, JMS. Then we have Java EE Connector Architecture. Then we have Java Mail. So these are the technologies of Java EE application. So first, application technology, enterprise application technologies. First we studied about Java web applications, web application technologies. Then move towards your enterprise application technologies. Then we will be moving towards web services technologies. So it includes SOAP and RESTful architecture, web services. So Java API for RESTful web services, which is also known as JXRS, defines API for development of web services built according representational state transfer. Note down the REST full form, representational state transfer architecture style, and it also provides SOAP or HTTP, simple online access protocol. Then we have Java API for XML registries. So XML plays a crucial role while developing a Java API specifically using JSLT. Then we have another kind of set, that is your security technologies, which is known as JAC, Java's authorization contract for containers. So it basically specifically defines a contract between Java EE application server and authorized policy. Then we have JSPIC, Java authorization service provider interface for containers. Then they have provided Java EE evolution. So basically note down how many technologies we have to deal with. Starting with web application services. In web application services, we have servlet, then moving towards a JSP, Java server pages, then moving towards a Java server pages, standard tag libraries. Then we have Java server faces. Then moving towards the second set, that is your enterprise application technologies. That includes enterprise Java beans. Then we have Java persistent API. Then Java transactional API, Java message services, and then Java EE connector architecture. Java mail is there. Then moving towards the next Java web services technologies, we have SOAP and RESTful architecture, representational state transfer REST architecture actually. Then we have SOAP, simple object access protocol. Then we have security technology, JACC, then JSPIC. So in Java EE evolution, we have formally called enterprise. The current version is called Java EE7. So we'll be learning about Java EE7. So advanced version are available prior to this Java EE7. So, but for our syllabus context, we have to refer Java EE 7. So migration is there. Pojo is plain object. Java object is there. Features of Java EE 6. Major features is extensibility. You can extend your work. Profile is there. Profiles are there. Then you can use this kind of web profiles using Servlet, JSF, JSLTC, pruning to the outdated APIs, JAX, RPC, EJB is there, JAX, the Java deployment of application and EE management. So basically, we'll be dealing with all this advanced concept of Java EE. So in upcoming lectures. So just quickly summarize what we have learned in today's lecture. What is Java EE? So enterprise application is a business application in today's incorporated environment. Enterprise application are complex, scalable, distributed, component based, and mission critical. So you can develop a corporate environment or a business based application with the complexity and scalability, and it will be distributed across cross platforms. Then we have architecture, several layer of tiers. They are your client tier services, web tier services, business tier services, enterprise information system tier software runs on the EIS servers. So challenges can be challenges of enterprise application development are there. Programming productivity, response to demands are there. Integration with the existing system is there. Freedom to choose is there. Maintaining security are the challenges in front of your enterprise application. What is Java Enterprise Edition? It is a set of coordinated technology, as we have already discussed, and practices that enable developing, deploying, and managing multi-tier service-centric enterprise applications. So what are the tiers that can be used with Java EE? Several tiers. Client tier is there, web tier, business tier services, and that enterprise information system tier is there. Then moving towards this mm, next concept, it contains several technologies, including your Java Servlet, Java Server Pages, Java Server Pages standard tag library JSLTC, then Java Server Faces in web application, then Facelets, then enterprise application technology. It contains EJB, Enterprise Java Beans, then Java Persistence API is there. Then it includes Java Transaction API. Then moving towards Java Message Service, then Java EE Container Architecture, Java Mail. In web service technologies, it provides SOAP and AS. RESTful architecture is there. SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. In RESTful architecture, representational state transfer architecture style. Then it also provides security technology of JSCC and JSPIC. So we'll stop here for today's session.